Good morning and welcome back to another edition of Wake Up with the Consciousness Cafe. My name is Lisa Ferraro and Consciousness Cafe comes to you from SoulCall Ministries. This morning it is my honor and privilege to welcome Sarah Crowell, who's the artistic director and one of the co-founders of an unbelievable production, a dance troupe called Destiny Arts. And she joins us from Oakland, California. Good morning, Sarah, and welcome.
Good morning. Thanks so much for having me, Lisa.
It's so brilliant to have you as part of this dialogue through the month of June, the Black Lives Matter. It's not just a movement, it's an awakening. It's time for us to wake up and stay woke. We've already heard all of these, but there are all these people that I would like to introduce that I'm aware of who have been doing this, not even just the Black Lives Matter, but the empowerment of humanity. Because not just the people on the stage, the brilliant humans that you would work with as the artistic director of Destiny, but not one person walks out of that auditorium untouched and having another layer of fear removed from their hearts to just keep more love coming through. When did you realize that was your soul's calling? Or tell us a little bit about what brought you there and what you'd most like to share from your soul this morning.
Oh, that's such a beautiful question. Well, let me just first start by saying a little bit about Destiny Arts Center. We're a nonprofit organization. We're based in Oakland. We serve 3 to 18-year-olds at our site. So we have a community arts center in North Oakland that's been around for 32 years. We also go to schools, public schools in West, North, and East Oakland. So we're all over the city of Oakland and in the Bay Area. We serve 2,600 young people every year, after school, during school. We do dance, theater, martial arts, self-defense, conflict resolution. And our mission is to inspire and ignite social change through the arts.
Beautiful.
So I've been at the organization for 30 years, and what you're talking about, Lisa, is the Destiny Arts Youth Performance Company, which is one of our programs. We have a performance group that's a pre-professional hip-hop dance theater troupe that does work collaboratively with adult artists to create work that's really about the passions of young people right now. What are they passionate about? What are they afraid about? What are they angry about? What brings them grief? What brings them hope? And how do we redesign together our destinies, right? So that's why I love the name of our organization, Destiny Arts Center. It was originally an acronym, De-escalation skills training, inspiring nonviolence in youth. And now,
say it again.
De-escalation skills training, inspiring nonviolence in youth.
Beautiful.
And for me, what it is that we have the power to co-create our own destinies, that it's not fixed, that we're not stuck, and that we, across generations, have to co-create that. So oftentimes we say, oh, the young people are the future, and no, we're all the future. We're all co-creating our present and thus our future right now. And so our teen dance theater company, along with our junior company and now our elders project, which is now 13 women over the age of 60, we co-create these original productions every year that really express the passions of this community and do it in this really fine way. I think what you're saying is that, like, the feeling that when people walk out of a Destiny performance, they feel empowered, they feel like some layer of fear has been peeled away, so that they can understand how to co-create their destiny. And that there's this passion for, and this empowerment, and empowerment, not that way that we talk about it kind of loosely, but like really truly, like, I have the power to create my reality in community. You know, that it isn't some esoteric, unreachable reality, but that it's right now, every moment, we have the power to co-create our destinies.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. I mean, it's so palpable. I know those were some of my most favorite performances to experience ever, because it was so real and not just pulling away a layer of fear, then there's this opportunity for a deeper realization of this co-creation process you're talking about, how we, as a society, we are the human race, period. You know, we show up differently, and celebrating diversity means celebrating the ways that we're unique. And, you know, you and I like food. It's the same as that. It's like sprinkling the right ingredients together to get the most flavor out of it. And you know, I'm in Columbus, Ohio right now, and that's one of the things I appreciated most about living in California, in that Oakland area, especially, was the confluence of cultures.
Yeah, and Oakland is this beautiful space. I mean, I'm wearing my Respect Oakland shirt today. I think Oakland is this incredible confluence of humans, activists, artists, dreamers, change makers. You know, I mean, right now, I said to you before we started that I didn't even know if I could talk today. You know, the resonant mantra right now is I can't breathe. You know, and we can't breathe because the knee of capitalism and patriarchy and white supremacy is on all of our necks. And if we realize that it's on all of our necks, that George Floyd is his life is precious, and all of our lives then are precious. You know, how do we remove that knee from our necks?
Right.
How do we lift each other up? How do we realize what pieces of ourselves are the knee on that neck? Right. You know, what pieces of us are in this current story that is tragic and also that is, for me, in this moment, you know, other moments no, but in this moment I feel hopeful that because there's such an obvious, it's so obvious how egregious, how unjust that particular death was, that then unleashes the injustice of generations.
I was just reading one of my favorite quotes from Audre Lorde is, "Our feelings are our most genuine paths to knowledge." And I was thinking about you with Destiny and getting the younger generation to express their feelings so passionately, and it's just so clear, and it just keeps coming. It helps us to allow our feelings to come up too, and to take a look at what you just described there is exactly what's happening in this country, and it has been happening. It's been perpetuated, and you know, we're right before we started to record, we were talking about the segregation of generations, and how that wisdom doesn't, if you can break the communication between generations, we tease out some of the wisdom from each other.
Right.
What could we be doing to support and sustain this? It's one thing to sit here and talk about it eloquently and beautifully and passionately. And I know you've changed so many lives with the work you've been doing, the excellent work you and the people at Destiny. SoulCall Ministries is coming to fruition now because it's each of us is what I believe. It's not one rallying around one person anymore. It's all of us. What's the clearest thing you can see? Like, your feelings were bringing you what knowledge for the rest of us that we can learn from you?
Thank you for that question. You know, I think we think, oh, if only we had a powerful leader like Dr. King, like Malcolm X, like even our former president. You know, if we only had clear, dignified, powerful, radical leadership that we could follow, things would be better, right? I think some of that resonates, maybe for some. For me, I think that what the call is, you know, the soul's call, the call for this moment is that all of us, each of us, have that Dr. King, that Malcolm X, that Barack Obama, that Audre Lorde, that Toni Morrison, like whoever your heroes are. You know, I'm calling some of mine, but whoever your heroes are, those are living within us. We are not separate. And so when we are called to be that for our communities, to acknowledge. I was on a bike ride this morning and I was sort of meditating on what it was that I was going to say today. And, you know, how can I be the most authentic, the most honest about my own privilege, even as a queer, mixed race, African-American woman in my mid 50s? What are the things that are missing from me? What can I look at more deeply about my own privilege in order to remove the shackles that exist in my cells, in my being, so that I shine with the light of honesty and authenticity, so that I can do my work as a leader in my community with my heart open, with being completely vulnerable and humble, and truthful about you know, who I am and what my limitations are. You know, one of my spiritual teachers, Guru Mai, says, you don't come to spiritual community to feel comfortable. You come to remove the obstacles to your freedom. Nice. And that's, to me, what it is that we have to do on an individual basis. And once we, as leaders in our communities, if we continue to do our work, you know, in our own selves, then we can be in community in a way that inspires other people to tap into their own authentic way of shifting and changing the ways that we relate with each other. That's all social change is. It's changing the ways that we relate to each other, right? So I can inspire the young people that I co-create social and political dance theater with. I can do that if I'm coming to them with my heart open, going, there are things that I understand that I want to impart my wisdom. I want to impart my wisdom to you. And there's things that I don't, and I want to learn from you. And there are things that I think I'm wise about that maybe I don't, that I could shift and change. How do we remain fluid and willing to learn from each other? You know, I'm working on my latest piece of work that I'm doing collaboratively with a group of about 50 people, young people, elders, powerful artists, including Mark Bamuti Joseph, Brett Cook, Rashidi Omari, Paula Dewart, people from Destiny, and collaborators who I've been working with. Bamuti and I and this group have been collaborating on a show, a dance theater production that's now going to be a film called The Black Hole, WHOLE, with the W bracketed. You know, sort of juxtaposition between the phenomenon of the black hole in the universe and black wholeness. And how do we, as Black people and as communities that support Black people, which should be everyone because we are all humans and we're all one, how do we reach to wholeness, right? How do we expose the broken places, the places that are not whole, in order to encourage healing and wholeness? You know, that's a piece of the work of an artivist, an activist, an artist, all of us who are artists. You know, Lisa, as a singer, when your notes are resonant with your soul, you heal everyone in your audience, right? And we have to remember that as artists. You know, I was in a protest with my mask on. Like I said, mid 50s, I was 6 feet to 10 feet away from the young people who were gathered together. But I spent 45 minutes in the presence of activists and artists and dreamers in the streets of Oakland yesterday. And, you know, that inspires me to continue to do my work. And then I inspire them, right? And so we're in this constant giving and receiving. There's this image that I posted on Facebook of my students in a show that we did 4 or 5 years ago called Seed Language. And it was right as the Black Lives Matter movement was becoming uplifted. And there's this photograph of my students all with Black Lives Matter t-shirts on, all of different races and backgrounds, with their fists up and their mouths open, like, you know, shouting for justice. And I remember the first time I saw all of those students, and like I said, they're a very diverse group of young people, mostly kids of color, but also white kids, wearing these Black Lives Matter t-shirts. And I thought, this is the image of shifting and changing. Like that we understand that this group of very diverse young people understand that when Black lives matter, all lives can matter. When each life matters, all life can matter.
Powerful. Sarah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Lisa. Thanks so much for having me.
Love from us to you, and can't wait to have you back on and talk more with you. Right. Thank you.
Blessings. Thank you.